Hi folks, this is your MWIS Fleeting View in association with Petzl. We're maintaining wintry conditions across the mountains through this week. Some additional snowfalls, but a good deal of dry and bright weather in the days ahead. The wind speeds will vary. Do be prepared for significant chill factor at times on higher terrain. The weather pattern is showing some changes into the weekend, with some milder air and some rain trying to come in from the Atlantic. At the moment, we have slow-moving weather systems across the country. One centre of low pressure away toward the south will get drawn away towards France, so not having too much influence on our mountain forecasts. The low that is to the east of Scotland is the weakening remnants of a system that's been around in previous days, but the front still draped across northeast Scotland will produce an area of snowfall across the Cairngorms for a good few hours from before dawn into the morning, and that's just fizzling out gradually into the middle of the day. Strong winds too across these more north and eastern mountains in Scotland, up to gale force across the high tops for periods during Wednesday. Some further snow and hail showers near to the coasts around the northwest of the Highlands. Best of brighter conditions will be found across more central southwestern spots toward Loch Lomond, but further north generally a lot of cloud still shrouding the mountains through the day. Northern England a bit brighter with some cloud banks over the hills, chance of a local shower over the North Pennines, but lighter winds overall here, but still feeling chilly on the tops. For Wales, the wind will tend to strengthen a bit as the low to the south just gets a bit nearer, so the northerly wind increasing, but a broadly dry day, one or two showers near to the Irish Sea coast, and maybe just some high cloud obscuring the sunshine. I'll run the sequence onwards through the rest of the week, and overnight into Thursday we'll see some clearing skies across many places just as pressure builds from the west, so a frost is likely in many inland parts, still a few showers with snow and hail near to some northwestern coasts, possibly to start the day on Thursday, and still rather windy across more north and northeastern parts of the Highlands during the day, that northwesterly touching gale force over the Cairngorms at least in the morning, speeds just dropping a bit through the day as our ridge of high pressure expands further in. One or two local showers near the Irish Sea not completely ruled out, with some snow flurries just on the high tops in Wales, but most places seeing some dry, bright conditions with sunny spells and cloud breaks towards higher slopes, especially away from windward western coasts. Onwards into Thursday evening and night, and the wind will turn south-southwesterly across western mountains in Scotland, ahead of another front just pushing in, and that will bring some rain and upland snow across the hills and mountains. How extensive that gets into Scotland is uncertain. It may only just run in from the west coast and then fizzle out. A zone of rain and some snow just on the higher tops in Wales, possibly northern England as well, through to dawn on Friday is likely. That front is largely fading and weakening into Friday daytime, as it encounters generally high pressure, so most likely Friday starts off with some cloud across the hills, but that will be an improving story with bases lifting and some breaks forming towards tops, and many places actually seeing a dry and relatively bright day. The wind speed could just vary, a bit gusty in places, but a lull in conditions is likely at least part of Friday daytime. So all in all, looking a promising day with temperatures staying near to freezing over most higher terrain. Some changes then developing out to the west as we head into Friday evening and night, as a strengthening southwesterly gets in, and that is expected to bring some milder air and temperatures starting to lift even near the west coast of Scotland late on Friday, above freezing towards higher tops. Now, how far in that front to the west gets on Saturday is open to some question, but it does look like a much windier day with the risk of gales extensively and rather turbulent conditions over the mountains through the daytime. The temperature situation for Saturday could be quite complicated, with some milder air coming in so that western coastal mountains will generally be above freezing point, and with rain around, a thaw will set in pretty extensively here. Further inland, some south-facing slopes may hang on to temperatures only near or just above freezing point, and there's the risk of some freezing rain where that falls onto colder surfaces. Some spots toward the northeast of the Highlands could well see temperatures that bit milder, and in some places even on higher slopes up to around +5, so likely to be some thawing developing perhaps increasingly during the daytime. Some rain and some low cloud really just persistent around western coasts, best of any brighter breaks toward the northeast, and an increasingly misty, murky picture and damp near to the Irish Sea as well. Now, once that front makes further progress eastwards, behind it there is actually some colder air that has its origins off northern Canada compared to the more tropical air mass that will have been around through Saturday daytime. And that will just tend to lower the freezing level again, so it's possible that the back edge of that front could turn back to a mix of rain and snow across the hills. A lot of uncertainty with where it's positioned by Sunday daytime. It has the potential to lead to a rather wet day with some sleet and rain broadly across the hills in England and Wales. Scotland, we could get something of a clearance coming in. I suspect there'll be still a lot of cloud across the mountains, but something a bit drier trying to push in from the west, with the air temperature on the mountains near or only just above freezing point, I think, by this stage, and the wind most likely lighter by Sunday. Quite a complicated prospect then for the existing snow cover with those temperature fluctuations through the weekend, and that will continue into next week. And I think again the message will be that we'll see some thawing of that snow most likely as further pushes of mild southwesterly air come in, with the risk of further gales for periods and some rain approaching from the Atlantic once more. Wettest conditions likely in western Scotland early in the week. Once more around Tuesday we could see a push of chillier westerly air take temperatures back near to freezing or just below across the higher Munros, and some showers with snow coming on to western higher mountains. Overall, though, that westerly, west-south-westerly flow is likely to prevail and be quite strong across Scotland for much of the week ahead. And again, temperatures may fluctuate with further periods of thawing developing through midweek. Higher pressure to the south is likely to influence England and Wales, with generally drier conditions here, cloud often shrouding western mountains, and there's a chance at least that that high might make some further progress northwards. Some models build that a bit more extensively, whereas this chart, even by Thursday next week, has got a pretty wet story across western Scotland. So just a few things to watch in the detail of the forecast a week or so away. Enjoy some wintry conditions if you can in the short term, though. All the details for your local area on our website. That is your Fleeting View in association with Petzl.